Sechte bava basra, daf yud zayin amid aleph. We're starting from the last line on tes zayin amid base. Tanu Rabbanim gelent na braise. Shloisha hitimon hakadosh baruch hu be'elam hazeh. 3 people, the Eibishter gave them the taste in this world. Me'ein olam haba, from olam haba. Ve'elohein, and these are they, Avram, Yitzri, Yaakov. Avram and Yitzri, Yaakov. Avram was Zeichatich, the Chsib, because by Avram it says, Hashem, Berech Avram Bakoil. From the word Bakoil, it means that he got everything, including the taste of olam haba. And Yitzchak, the Chsib, Va'eicham Mikoil. By Yitzchak, when it came to Yaakov, before getting the brachas, he brought the food. So it says Va'eicham Mikoil. And there it says he also smelled when from the begadim that he put on. It's begadim on himself to feel like Esau. So Yaakov, Yitzchak had said that he smelled the reich of Gan Eden. Yaakov, the Chsibei, Yeshli Koil. He says, I have everything. There's a union from Yeshli Koil and Yeshli Rav. Yeshli Rav means he has everything and he wants more. Yeshli Koil means he's satisfied. So in Gashmis, that's a good thing. That it brings down in the Yom Yom, but in Ruchnis, there are things in Gashmis, but it's the opposite in Ruchnis. In Ruchnis, Yesh Likol is not a good thing. You're not supposed to be satisfied. You always have to go up and try to get closer to the HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Zog the Yimar, Shloisha Leishal Behem Yetzahara. 3 people, the Yetzahara did not rule over them. And these are they, Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov. Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov. Taisa says, if they didn't have a Yetzirah, how would they get reward? Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov. So the Gemara says, since most of the years they have lived most of their years and they didn't sin, so therefore, Shuv Ein, they're not going to sin anymore. It says, Al derech habol latar misayin loy. Habol latar misayin loy. So the Eibishter helped them since they work so hard against the Yetzirah. And most of the years passed, so the Eibishter sort of guaranteed them Shuvei Nechaita. Where do we see that Avram Yitzchak Yaakov it wasn't Shelah? It says Bakom Yikalkel. That means they had everything. A part of everything is that the Yetzirah doesn't get in their way. Yashem Av David HaMelech. Even David HaMelech, the Yetzirah wasn't Shelah by them. They see, like it says in Tehillim, that David said, "V'libi chol b'kirbi." And in Tanya it says, because he killed his Yetzirah through fasting. So that's according to Yeshem, and that even David was included. But the other Tana, who didn't mention David HaMelech, how does he touch up the Libi Cholobah Kirbi? Tzarei Huda Matkar. Says Gemara, David was mentioning in this pasuk the tsar that he was seivel, that he absorbed, and because of this, the many tzaris that he had, it was like he was dead within, meaning that he lost the koyach to live. And the pasuk is not talking about a Yetzirah, according to the Tana that says it was only Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov who the Yetzirah did not rule in them. There were 6 people of whom it said that the Malach HaMavis didn't rule over them, and their misa was through the neshika, through the kissing of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And these are they, Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Moshe, Aaron, and Miriam. Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov, how do we know Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov, the Chsubihu? It says that they were blessed by Koil, Mikol, Koil. So there wasn't any covet missing. Part of the covet is that they were kissed by HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Moshe, Aaron, Miriam, the Chsibu al Pi Hashem. By Moshe and Aaron, it says al Pi Hashem in the pasuk, which means through the mouth of Hashem, not through the mouth of the Malach HaMavis. And since we find that Moshe, Aaron, and Miriam were blessed with such a kavod, so we have to say also that the others were also blessed in such a way that they were passed away, or they were passed away through the neshikas of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The neshika HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's brought down in the Chaim that we know that not Avio, how did they pass away? Because they came close to Hashem. This is the eating of Neshika, Bekavase, even over here, the way he teaches Kiras Hashem is Kiras Hashchina Neshika, Alpi Neshika, Avadei HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he teaches Kiras Hashchina, Genevas the Neshama Latzis Ma'agov Kedei Lidavik By Yisbarach. The Shechina that coming so close to the Shechina causes that neshama should leave the guf. By another bavi, we know that's how they passed away. That neshama, bekavasim lefnei Hashem, that they came so close to Hashem, that's how they passed away. If so, they died also to Neshika. Why are their names not mentioned here? So I'm not sure if it's like a Chaim. One of the Mefarshim, I don't remember, it was in Achrei Meis, we had spoken in Shul. So, but one of the people showed me that it says that there's a difference, that by Nadav Avihu, they came to Hashem. They came close to Hashem. That's how they passed away. Mashen came, Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Meshach, Numiyam, the Eibishter came to them. That's on a much higher level. That's why Nadav Avihu was not mentioned here. I'm Rabbi Lazar. Rabbi Lazar had the effect about Miriam. About Miriam, like Sibba Al Pi Hashem, but by Miriam it doesn't say Al Pi Hashem. And the Gemara, Rabbi Lazar, Miriam Naman Neshika Mesa. Miriam really passed away through Neshika. The Asya Sham Sham Meisha. We learn out with Xeda Sham information. By Miriam it says Vatamas Sham Miriam. And by Moshe it says Vayamas Sham Moshe. So from the Xeda Sham Sham, just like Moshe passed away through Mises Neshika, so too did Miriam. So why doesn't it say Al Pi Hashem by Miriam? It's a Ganai, meaning it's not there a kavit Shalmaila to say that it happened Al Pi Hashem by a woman. Seven people, the Rima, the worms and the maggots, it didn't affect them after they died. How do we know that the maggots and the worms didn't affect them? Their goof was not unaffected. It says the pasuk. So the Gemara teaches us that the Rima, the worms and the Seleya did not affect them. Like when it comes to when the Malach HaMavis kills somebody, it says that there's a mother that falls in from the sword of the Malach HaMavis falls into the mouth of the person, and that makes the goof decay. But they were through Al Pi Hashem, not through the sword of the Malach HaMavis. So he's and Ma'ishvi Aaron Miriam Al Pi Hashem, that they died Al Pi Hashem. So it wasn't through the Malach HaMavis. Binyam ben Yaakov, by Binyam ben Yaakov Chsiv Binyam Nama Yedid Hashem Yishkan Levatach Alav. So it says Yishkan Levatach means that they will lie forever, meaning that it wouldn't decay. Shut Shamikra means it says Hashem Yishkan Beis HaMikdash, that the Eibishter will rest in the Beis HaMikdash. That was the Chelak of Binyamin. And here the pasuk says, because of the Kiris Hashem to Binyamin, the closeness Yedid Hashem, the closeness of Hashem to Binyamin, that's why Yishkin Levetach, he will lie in his caver forever without having worms or maggots affecting him. You have here Tesis, it says Shleisha Lo Sholta Rima. So it says the Rashba Lechera. There are many more tzaddikim that the goof wasn't affected. It says V'rakev Hatzomis Kina. It says Misheish Lekina Beliba Atzmais in the Kovim. V'shein Lekina Beliba Ein Atzmais in the Kovim. Markivin. It says those people who didn't have jealousy, their goof didn't rot. So it wasn't only these. I'm sure there were many more tzaddikim. And we find even by Elaz ben Shimon, he was in the attic for either 18 or 22 years. And it says that at the end, it Tesis wants to answer over there, but there was a bug that came out of his ear, and his wife got all afraid, and Rabbi Elaz ben Shimon came in a dream, and he said it was for a certain sin, that's why he came out. But it did, the Rima, the Selei, it did affect their goof, but it didn't rot. But Rima and Selei were not afraid of the goof. Mashenkim, by these tzaddikim, Ima, Rima, and Selei didn't even touch were afraid to touch the goof. Yeshem of David, even David, the Rima, and Selei, the worms and the maggots didn't touch him. The Chsiv, like it says by David, Even my flesh will lie forever. And the Tana that doesn't mention David, what is he going to say with the words? It was David that was asking for Rachamim from Hashem that the Ribam Saleh shouldn't have affected. But not that it was 100%. Four died only because of the Gzeda of that Nachash gave Eitzah and said if you eat from the Eitz Hadas you'll live forever, and the Eibushter made a Gzeda that people should die. And so since people have to die, that's the only reason why they died. There's a Sikha, the Rebbe says that the Arizal had been Meshabeach the Ramak, and there he brings down from Pashas. He say it's only because of the Tela Israel Ha'etz. He says only because of this is how the Eibishter created the world that people should die. So that's really from the goodness of the Eitz Hadas, not from the evil of the Eitz Hadas. Faket, Arizal was praising the Hamak that he was greater than these people, the Minyam and Yaakov and Amram, the father of Moshe and Yisha, the father of David, Achil ben David, because they came from Etches, a lashon that has from the Atzos Shal Nachash, Atzos Shal Nachash in your bad. So there's bad mixed in. Mashenkin, the Hamak, he passed away only from the good of the Eitz of Teilah Yisrael. Eitz had nothing to do with Atzas, it had nothing to do with the Ra of that Gzeda. And the Rebbe explains, because his whole life was Pnimius HaTeira. Seems like the Arizal passing that on himself as well, from that Sikha. Okay, the Kula Gemara says the Gemara, all these people is a Messiah that was given over to us, that they they only died because of the Gzeda of Eitz Hadas. Levami Yisha Avi David the Mefarish Beikra, except for Yisha, the father of David, where the pasuk explicitly says that he died only because of the Gzeda of Eitz Hadas. Nechsiv v'samasa some Avshalom tachzei v'alatzava. Avshalom placed Amasa as the general instead of Yoav. Amasa ben Ish ushma Yishas Eli. Amasa ben Ish, his name was Yishas Eli. Asher ba'al Abigal bas Nachash, who lived with Abigal, the daughter of Nachash, Achis Tzuria, who was the sister. Abigal was the sister of Tzuria, and Yoav, who was the mother of Yoav Tzuria. Abigail was the daughter of Nachash. Alei bas Yishahi. Abigail was the daughter of Yishai. The Chsiv, Vach Yisayim, and the sister, Benegate to Bnei Yishai, and the sisters were Tzuya v'Abigail. They were the daughters of Yishai. So how do you say Bas Nachash? Abigail Bas Nachash. Abigail was Bas Yishai. Ella, why does it say Bas Misha? Why does it say Bas Nachash? Ella, only the Pshat, we have to say Bas Misha means Be'itel Shal Nachash. Only because the reason why it says Shal Nachash, Bas Nachash, to tell us that the only reason that he passed away is not because of any sin, only because there was a Gzeda that a person has to die. Adon Allah, Hashutun, we turn to you, Perek Hashutun. We're starting a new Perek, Perek L'Yachper. The Perek over here talks about distancing one from another when it comes to Nezikin. We have a machlokes between Rabbi Yossi and the Rabbanan, that upon who has to, when somebody wants to make something in his field that could cause damage to the next field, so there's a machlokes between Rabbi Yossi and the Rabbanan, who has to take the precaution. The Rabbanan say that the mazik, the one that's, let's say, planting a tree, or the one that's making a bird in his own shoes, even though it's in his own shoes, the mazik has to distance himself from his friend's field to avoid doing damage. The Rabbi Yossi says, "Faket." No, it's the nizik is the one that's getting damaged. He has to take the precautions to distance himself from getting hurt, from being harmed. Anyway, Zak the Mishnah, Lo Yachle Adam Beir. A person shouldn't dig a round pit, next to the bird of his friend. Veloy Shiach, nor make a long ditch. V'loy mar, not a cave. V'loy amas hamayim, and not a channel of water. V'loy nevraches kivsim, and not a pool of water in which they would launder their clothing. Elim kain, there was usually by the laundering, there were two bayers. One bayer is to soak the clothing, and one bayer they would put it in the manure, and it was like a detergent. They would leave it there for days. So, nor could he make a pool of water. Only if he distanced these pools or beiris or shiach away from the wall 3 tvachim besad the sea, and he covered the wall with they covered the beir walls with lime. For two reasons, it's brought down. Either one is because when you're banging it, every time you're digging, you're weakening the ground from your friend's karka if you're doing it right by the boundary. And number two, because water, if you have water, water seeps through, and water could cause damage. And you leave the and you distance the pulp from the olives, and the manure, and the salt, and the lime, and the flintstones. They give off heat from the walls of his friend. He has to distance 3 tvachim, because these create heat and damage the wall. So now there's two girsas, the Gemara will say later on. So besides distancing himself, either it's visad besid, and he also has to cover it with lime, or oisad besid, or he could cover it with lime. We'll see the Gemara later. We distance the seeding plants and the plowing. That's made raglayim. And number one, when somebody wants to make number one, so he has to distance himself from minakis, from the wall, because that destroys the clay wall. Shleisha tvachim. He needs 3 tvachim. The charisha could cause that the wall should fall down, because it's weakening the foundation of the wall. And meraglayim also eats away on the cement of which the kaisel was built. So the Gemara, shloisha min hashechav, shein abba min harechav. He says by Rechaim there are 2 stones. The bottom stone is wider, so from there to the wall you only need 3 tvachim, and from the upper stone, which is narrower a little bit, you need 4 tvachim. So too, by an oven is the same story. That you have to distance yourself from the oven, at the base of the oven, only 3 tvachim, because the base is wider.